I
Hello.
think it's about
Okay.
time.
Okay. We are going to start. Okay. Good evening. Good evening, students, teachers, and staff, and welcome to LSi Business School. And I warmly welcome you on an international webinar on applying critical thinking skills in business decisions. My name is Muzammil Ahmed, Associate Dean, SME Management Department, and I'm associated with LC Business School. And today we are having Dr. Sana from Pakistan. She has done PhD in human resource management from Malaysia, and she has got too many years of teaching experience in different universities. Currently, she is associated with the Pakistani University, SMIT, Sindh Management Institute and Technology, as a business director. Okay, Ms. Sana, we welcome you to LC Business School. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. And how is everything in Pakistan?
Everything in Pakistan is okay, sir. We are all very much busy, obviously, in our schedules, but obviously we have to find time. Otherwise, we cannot find any time. So in Pakistan, everything is going good.
Okay, that's great. You know, I feel glad to say that we have students from Cambodia, Pakistan, Korea, South Korea, and from South Africa as well. So I feel glad to announce that we have too many students from different countries. So your topic seems quite interesting. Uh, I think, and that is new to all our students, applying critical thinking skills in business decisions. Before starting your presentation, uh, we would like to know what is this about. After what are the outcomes of your this webinar?
So the thing is that the topic today is about critical thinking. And this is a very interesting topic because we are going to use this in making decisions in our business. As
Mm-hmm.
you see that the business decisions are also very critical, so they require critical thinking as well.
Mm-hmm.
And these are very important decisions because then they are involving the company's profit, and definitely no one wants to suffer any losses. So for that purpose, critical thinking plays a very important role.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be discussing what are the techniques and what are some fundamentals, and I'll also be looking at definition, and I'll be making the students and the participants go through some of the question answer session as well, so that I can get some feedback about their thinking or their perception of the critical thinking. So this is what the
Okay. Okay.
this yes.
You know, we all are very desperate and eager to know about creating a critical thinking skills, because it's a very new topic, and most of us do not know about critical thinking skills. So wish you best of luck, and please start.
Okay, thank you so much. As Sir Muzammil have introduced me, I'm Dr. Sana, and I will be telling you about the critical thinking, which is very much required in business decisions. But before we are going to start, let's look at a very good definition which has been provided by David Sever. He defines the critical thinking as a purposeful thinking that uses the skills of problem solving, decision making, evaluation, and metacognition to resolve conflicts and arrive at a solution and understand depth. So before we go into understanding, or you can say go into understanding the different perception, or you can say different concepts, or you can say different linkages of the critical thinking, we first have to understand that what that is. So critical thinking is, in simple word, is purposeful thinking, and that will help you in resolve and that will help you arrive at solution and to develop understanding of the depth of the any problem. So as we see, I can even quote the current scenarios that we have all faced. In fact, the whole world faced, that is the COVID. Now, COVID is something which had changed our lifestyle, which have changed our thinking, and especially it had changed the way the businesses used to work and to take decisions, because the entire structure of the business was changed. Like even you can see right now that I am online and everyone is online. So there was a pattern which has been followed for years and years in the world, that there were physical gatherings. Now the concepts is changing, that is that I am online with you, and this is now something very normal. So when the businesses were hit by the COVID and they were facing new challenges, so they had to make some very important decisions, because the old techniques, or you can say the old methods of making decisions, were not applicable anymore. So this required critical thinking. So critical thinking will help in it will help any business, and it will help any even institution to regain their to regain the patterns that they used to follow in their regular patterns were adopted, or you can say they were adapted. The word adapted would be more appropriate. They were adapted online. So it is very important to solve problems. For example, there were a lot of problems which were created during the COVID, and people were working from home. And the like I am a PhD in human resource management, so I can understand the human behavior, that once you when you force the people to work from their homes, then it changed their dynamics, it changed the performance parameters, and then it generates a lot of confusion. So it was a big challenge for the employees also to work from home, to adapt the new way of working styles, and to specially train themselves, and to think in a way that they can understand, and plus they can also adapt to the new challenges. Like it happened to all of us, it happened to me, it happened to you, that we were teaching online. So that was a really big challenge for me as well. And it was a new platform to teach the students to understand their thinking at that time, that what are they thinking, how to engage them in a way, or to how to gain their attention. That was very much challenging as a person to engage the whole class online. So this was requiring the teachers to think critically, and obviously the universities to think critically, that how they can apply this platform and effectively get results out of it. As far as the businesses are concerned, as I have discussed already, they have already faced a lot of challenges, a lot of problems, and they had to adapt the uh, pattern online pattern of doing business. So, so now I will going to tell you something about that. How to? There are some, we have to understand the flaws in our decision making. Well, this is something very interesting.
Okay, sorry
It's,
to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. I have a question.
yes, sir.
Actually, I should ask questions at the end of your session, but this question is very important. And before starting your lecture, I would like to know, you just said that during COVID-19, people used to work at their home, and there was confusion and
Yes,
psychological disorders, something like that.
yes,
I
yes.
would like to know, how would you relate this COVID-19 situation from your topic? Please,
Sir,
before.
the thing is that the COVID-19, if a person is working from home, that person is a part of a business. And when we are working from our office, then obviously our whole concentration is there because there are no distractions. But when we are limited and when we are working from our home, then definitely our movement, or you can say our approach, or there is another important word, our performance is changed. So at that time, if the businesses, the bosses, or you can say the board of directors or the directors at the top level, have to develop this understanding that they have to critically think in a way that they can handle their employees so that they can take the pressure and perform optimally as well. Right,
Okay,
sir?
okay, okay. Got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So there are certain flaws that I wanted to discuss in our decision making. Now, this is very important because we are in businesses make decisions, and there is prejudice, there is biasness, there is emotion, and there is mood, and then we face mental states, we face sleep, and there is heuristics, and then we have some unanswered questions which lead to making flaws in our decision making. Now, how these can affect our decision making? They can severely affect our decision making because if someone is prejudiced or someone is biased, then obviously their decisions will never be sound, and they will have this direction or their thought in the mind which is not clear. So decision making will be directly affected. Similarly, emotions are something, I think that we all have heard this thing that emotions and moods, they don't have a place in business decision making. There must not be any emotional decision making because they are again distorting our decision making, and we obviously are influenced by our emotions. So emotional control is very important. And as we see that when people were working from their home, they were facing some serious emotional issues because our when we were working from home, then definitely our what you can say that the movement or the approach or the access to different resources were very limited. So that had distorted, and that had also created flaws in decision making of the employees who were working in the organizations. Similarly, mental state of the people changed who were working from home, and heuristics are the rule of the thumb which we follow most of the time. And this is something very interesting because this is a very big flaw in decision making, that most of the people, they don't want to think much. In fact, they just follow the rule of the thumb that okay, fine, if this is the way things are done, then this is the way things are done. But was the main challenge. And as you can see, when the COVID was there, then entire working style was changed, environment was changed, and everything was changed. And because of that, the rule of the thumbs were not applicable there anymore. Similarly, there were some unanswered questions which can also lead to problems, or you can say flaws in the decision making. What the unanswered questions can be? The unanswered questions can be, for example, that I'm working from home and there are some electricity issues, there are internet speed issues, and then obviously if I'm working in my office, then my concentration level will be highest because I will have no distortion. But if I'm at home, then obviously I will ask my employer that these are the hurdles that I'm facing. So do you really expect me to perform 100%, or you can like expect me to perform 90% because I'm like facing distortions, and I'm facing internet speed issues and all these things. So these were some unanswered questions during the COVID as well. So now, another important part of the critical decision making is that uh, let the audience go through 6 stages of a critical thinker. Now, This is very important because most of the people have not developed the critical thinking in them. We see, and even I being a teacher and a researcher, when I'm taking interview from people or I am teaching even, and I'm like asking students different questions, I see a different caliber. So I observe that there is not always critical thinking in everyone. So let's see that how there are different stages that a person go through to become a critical thinker in the end, if that person like put a real effort. First, a critical thinker is the unreflective thinker. Who is that person? That thinker do not that thinker who do not reflect their thinking. They have high probability in making decision influenced by prejudice and misconception, and they lack basic thinking skills like logic, accuracy, and precision. You can mostly say that they follow heuristics or they follow the rule of the thumb. And even even if you are sitting at the decision making position in a business, then you need the employees who have better understanding towards their work so that they can perform their work effectively. So unreflective thinker is a type of a person who is not having a thinking process, or you can say that person does not question that why something is there or what is there. They don't go into asking questions. So they are unreflective, they have no reflection or they have no thinking. Now the second stage of a thinker, like if you are wanting to become a thinker and a critical thinker towards that journey, you can even move to the second stage if you think that is a challenge thinker. Now who is that person? That person is a thinker who is aware on the importance of thinking, that we must think, and that person must acknowledge thinking require reflective but unable to recognize the flaws. But that person is basically start like that person starts to think that why, or that person starts to question. So that person is a challenge thinker. Now the third stage when a thinker will move, that is a beginner thinker. What that person do? That person have a limited capacity on thinking, that putting value on the reasons. Now you have even observed that you work with your team members and you work with your colleagues, but you see that most of the time there are always 1 to 2 people in a group who are taking the lead, and they are having very bright ideas, and the other team members are not able to cope up with them. So what do? They become followers, and the person who is having good ideas, or they are having what you can say valuable reasoning for their whatever the task is, they are the beginning thinkers, or they actually they come above the level of the regular thinkers. So after that, the last stage is the master thinker. Now who's the master thinker? A master thinker is a person who continue on improving their thinking process through skills and experience. Thinker re-examine their assumption for logic, reason, and argument. Here where we find researchers, we find scientists who are inventing things, who are coming up with theories, who are coming up with logic, and they are providing reasoning for the world around us. And there are so many examples. But like for example, when Newton was sitting under an apple tree and an apple fell on his head, so an apple fell on his head, so what's the big deal? uh, I mean, if we think about it, so it's not something big. But he was a person who had the thinking in him, which led him to think more. that why the apple fell down. And then he started thinking that why everything falls down on the earth, what is there which is making them fall down. And then he even questioned that all these stars and the moon and the sun, they are in the sky, so why are they not falling down. So this thinking, this actual thinking led to the law of gravity. Okay, so he found the law of gravity. So that is the thinking that was in him, and that was the thing which led him to the discovery of a law of gravity. Now, from business point of view, in the same way, if there are obviously there are always challenges which are faced by every business, and when there was COVID-19, then I think that there were so many companies there that they had no clue that how to resolve such a problem, how to which techniques or which methods or which procedures to adopt to keep their business running, what will be the new business model. So this was all new, and you have seen that how the internet flourished, how the internet provided support, and it even like we were talking on phone because we were feeling unsafe to talk with people in like practical. So this new medium have provided a lot of opportunities, plus it revised and revamped the organization's structures as well. I see there are a lot of participants. So, sir, there will be question answers at the end, or if anyone wants to ask any questions, they can ask.
Okay, I think we can have question answer sessions at the end.
Okay, sir. Right.
That would be much better.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. So now I have like made you go through 6 stages of critical thinking, and how a thinker develop himself, and how a thinker convert himself from an unreflective thinker to a master thinker. So now from organization point of view, if we see the 3 levels of management, that is the top level, middle level, and the low level management, then we should put the critical thinking thinkers at the top level management, because they are deciding the strategies, the direction of the business, they are the planners, and they are basically running the entire organization. So this is how the organization human resource must be divided on the basis of their critical thinking. I think that I will quote a Peter's principle over here. Peter's principle is in human resource management, and the Peter principle says that people rise to the level of incompetence. Okay, sometimes the people rise to a level of incompetence. Now this is something very interesting, because there are hierarchies, there is corporate ladder, and people are climbing the corporate ladder, but the most important part is that the organization will be only benefited from those people who are intelligent enough, who can make sound decisions, who can solve problems, and who can come up with new procedures and ways to resolve the problems, right? So here where the critical thinking is very much important. Now we move on and we see that there are there how to learn the critical thinking techniques. Now there are 3 fundamental skills in critical thinking, and anyone can master it, because this is something which you can master. And if I like give my example, so throughout my studies I used to study a lot of books, and definitely I developed my critical thinking after 10 years of going through a lot of material. And then my all the ideas and all these what you can say thoughts, that they started to come together, and then I turned into a master thinker. And now I can like write good research papers, I can make sound reasoning questions, and I can even like have good research models as well. So how to reach this level? There are certain techniques which you can follow. First thing is that you must have analysis. This is very important. You must have analysis. So what is analysis? Analysis is when you identify and examine the structure of an argument, and argument mapping can help with visual representation of the structure. So when we talk about that, when we talk about the argument, then what is an argument? An argument is something which you have to understand, because most of the time when people are discussing, then they must have an outcome of that discussion, and all those points which whenever we are having meetings, we always end up with minutes of the meetings, right? So we must map those arguments, and we have to map them in a way that it must end up with a solution, right? Because if we are not going to have a solution, then it will not be of any benefit. So all the argument mapping must be there, that which person have said what, and how the argument was, it came about, and how everyone, what ideas different people had, and ultimately what was the outcome and what was the decision. So analysis is very important. Second thing is that you must have evaluation. That is, the assessment is based on credibility, relevance, on balance, on bias, and the logical strength amongst propositions. And then we have syllogistic reasoning can help with assessing logical reasoning that is concluded with two reasoning joints, that is mostly the deductive reasoning. So when we have evaluation, because we have to have evaluation, and how we are going to evaluate, we must have very good credibility, we must have balance, we must have relevance, and there must be some strength, logical strength in our arguments. Because you see that even when you are making any business decisions, then you have to be supporting it with the supporting documents. For example, you want to invest in your advertising campaign. So it's a very good idea that you are investing in your advertising campaign. But ultimately, in the end of the day, how will you calculate the return of your investment, right? So this is something you have to evaluate, the return of your investment. Because if you are putting ads and the sales is not increasing, then I think this will not be a very uh, logical decision to keep on investing in something where you don't get a return. Similarly, I have also observed that most of the companies, even the giant companies, they have turned to the internet for advertising, and their entire big outlets, their people are more now towards shopping online rather than they are now physically visiting the places. So e-commerce is at a very, what you can say, e-commerce is increasing, and the businesses are moving towards selling online. So this was the evaluation of those businesses, that if we can sell online and provide the same services which we were on in a physical store, we can also sell online. Now this gave a very big opportunities to the small businesses, because then there was no big investment required, because it was just a website or even a free Facebook page, or it was Instagram or other mediums, and even they were promoting their small businesses online. And since because of the COVID, there were obviously no one was going outside and everyone was in their homes, so companies had to deliver at home. So evaluation have led these companies to uh, adopt a new model of delivery, or you can say a new model of sales, and giving the customers delivery, and then also giving them more facilities that they keep on buying, and then they turn to the social media. So this was all evaluation of those organizations which have led them in developing a new model of the business, because they had to change the model. So this can only be done when they had analyzed and they had also like evaluated. And the third important critical thinking skill is inference. Now, what is inference? That is gathering and concluding argument based on the available evidence, and that is formal logic strategies and informal logic strategies can aid to infer conclusion. Inferences. Now, inferences is something very interesting, and without inferences, I think that there cannot be any conclusion made. So we have to draw correct inferences, and businesses have to draw the correct inferences that they have to gather, and those arguments, and they also have to look for the available evidence, and then they can make a formal logical strategies which can lead to a better conclusion. I can give an example like all those companies which were logistics, they were very severely affected because of COVID, because logistics was a total physical form. So obviously all the cargo, or you can say all the physical things were totally stuck. So this is something very difficult for a business to face such difficult conditions during COVID, when they cannot supply the cargo and the cargo is stuck. Now the important question is that what will be the decision? What will be the business decision? Because this is what is their business. Logistics is their business. Now here they have to think critically to what to do and what is the solution of this problem. And obviously they have to bring evidence, like China is the biggest exporter. They are exporting in the whole world, and their export was stopped for 7 months, 8 months, because of the fear in the whole world. So what they did, they sterilized everything. So that was the solution. And we see that how China recovered from COVID. They were the first one to recover very, very quickly from that. And that is their critical thinking, because they were able to come out of the problem and they saved their businesses. And obviously their businesses must have been there for obviously for years and years, for decades. So this is how the inference, or you can say the critical thinking, has saved their businesses. Now I will going to let you move to this is a diagram, and I will be requiring some input from the audience. uh, can you tell
Okay,
me what do
okay.
you see?
Yes, please, audience, listeners, I request you to turn on your mics so you can reply.
Yes, if you can tell me what do you see?
Can I answer?
Yes, sir, sure.
I can see a bat.
You can see a bat. Okay, fine. Is there anyone else who want to participate? What do you see in this
Like
diagram?
it's like a person in the middle.
Okay. Okay. You see a person in the middle. Okay, right.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Is there anyone else?
Yeah, I agree. I also see a person in the middle with like wings. So basically an angel.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Right. Is there anyone else who wants to tell me what do they see in this diagram?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I can see the animal with the wings.
Okay,
black
you see
animal with the wings.
okay, you see a black animal with wings, right? Okay, anyone else who want to see, who want to tell me that what do they see in this diagram?
Hi, I'm Natanya. I would say, given the ear standing up, it looks somewhat like a bunny, but
Okay,
So you get
also
it.
a figure of an animal with wings beside it.
okay, okay. Now all of you are correct. Okay, this is what is your thinking, and this is what you are like, whatever you are thinking, you're telling me, and whatever you're seeing, you are just telling me. So all of you are correct. Like if you'll ask me, I'll say that I'll see a Batman. And why? Because it's black and it got like two ears like a Batman and two legs. So yes, I see a person in the middle with wings, black wings. So all of you are correct. There's like every one of you are correct because you have your own thinking, and every person is reflecting their own thinking, right? So is there anyone else who want to contribute?
I have another reply, if you allow me.
Yes, yes, sure.
It's interesting, and it seems that a few drops of black ink drop on the
Okay,
white page, and it's like that.
okay, right. Okay, yes, this is something new because it's black ink on white.
Yes.
So yes, yes, it can be black ink on white as well. Yes, definitely. That is true. Obviously, that is correct. And so, yes, sir, you want to contribute something? Yes, sir. I think your mic is open.
Hello. I think another one is like people can see only the black dot in here, but they never see the white one. The white one is bigger than the black. See only one
Okay.
point here.
Okay, fine. Right, right. So we all are correct, and obviously there is this thinking of us which is making us think and come up with an answer that what we are seeing is definitely depending on the our depth of understanding of things and our exposure and our experience, which is leading us to see what the thing is. So if we can like take an answer to that, a correct answer. So there are no correct answers. You understand this part? There is no one correct answer to this because it is all correct. Whoever have answered or whoever have given their perception about it, it's all correct, right? So now we can map the argument. Okay, now this is something very interesting. Now you tell me that this is the picture that you see, and now can you answer what you see, which you have answered, right? You have answered what you see. Now can you give me a reason, two reasons of why you see that? Yes, sir, Muzammil, can you tell me why you see the thing you just told me? Can you give me two reasons?
Yes, it seemed like that. That's why I said that it's a bat or black ink on the piece of white paper. It
Okay.
seemed like that.
Oh, okay, right. You are saying that because it's looking like that, so it is
Yes,
like
yes,
that.
yes, yes.
Okay, okay, right. So
I
other
said it. I said it
yes,
that it's animal because of the ears, long hair, and
okay,
then I mentioned that it has wings because it's the shape of this animal look like this. These are feathers or the wings of that particular animal.
oh, okay, right, right. Because yes, these are the two reasons that you gave that why you see the thing that you are seeing right now, right? These are the reasons, right? I think there are other participants also who told me something. Can you tell me that why you see what you see?
So my reason was for it being a bunny because of the 2 ears standing up that normally relates to a bunny. And then if you look at the
Okay.
face, you see the cheeks that are protruding out. And if you resemble that to a bunny, it somewhat looks the same. And then the wings, of course. And then obviously, if you look down at the feet, you would see that bunny's feet start out wide and then they narrow down. So that's why I
Okay.
described it as a
Miss Natanya, can I
yes.
ask you that why you see a rabbit? Why you see a bunny? I mean, do
So
you like bunnies?
yeah, I do. But not only that, I think if you analyze this to a rabbit or a bunny standing up, it resembles very closely. Just my analyzing on this.
Right. So the reasoning is that you have a liking for a bunny, and that is why that is being reflected in what you are seeing. So this is a
Yes,
reason. This is a reason, right? And the
yes,
second reason was the way it was like the way the shape is, which is resembling. So this is a reason. This is very interesting. So yes, anyone else? I think there were more participants. Can you tell me the reasons of what you see and why you see it? Can you give me two reasons?
Okay, for me, I just see, I can say, a strange picture in a
Okay.
blank sheet.
Okay.
Okay, and when we see only the picture that is not clear at all, but we
Okay.
don't see the background of it.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Right.
you.
So yes, these are the reasons. So you see, all is correct, and it's based on your experience, and it's based on your expertise, your knowledge, and your exposure. So this is what the thing is. Like if I'll say I see a Batman, is because I saw Batman and it resembles the way Batman is. So this is my reason. So that is where we see that we all are having different thinking, depends on our exposure, depends on our experiences, and definitely if we have more exposure, our thinking will become more refined. So now this is this picture. I know that this picture is a little bit generating negativity, but can you tell me what do you see? What do you see in this picture? Is it generating negativity?
Hi, me again. So
Yes.
yes, it is generating negativity, sadness. What
Okay.
I see is a man that's sleeping, clearly
Yes.
oblivious to what his partner, it could be his partner or a relative that's
Right.
experiencing, which is clearly sadness. Holding the door means she is
Okay.
possibly stuck between two worlds, whether she wants to walk out or stay in. She's trying to
Hmm.
make a decision. And once again, the guy is not interested in, he is in his own little world there that's feeling complacent and fine at what
Okay.
he's doing.
Okay, fine. This is a very interesting explanation of what you see. But I see that the man might be very sick, and the woman is crying because the man is very sick. So this is what I see. So anyone else who can
Yes,
contribute?
I can see, I think it's a state of helplessness because a
Yes.
man is lying on the bed and he's sick, and
Yes.
the woman is weeping because she cannot do
Yes.
anything for him.
Yes.
So it's a state of helplessness.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. So, yes, this depends on your perception, and this depends on your exposure and your experience and the way you are thinking. So, yes, this if you, I like put this picture in front of you, the first impression will be negative. It is generating, it is having negative energy. And another very interesting part is that most of the people don't want to talk about it. I'm very much like, if I'll ask you, there will be hesitation and there will be resistance in contributing towards such a picture. But if there will be a positive mind, there will be a person who got critical thinking, that person will see through the picture and that person will see more in that picture. So that is where the different stages of the thinker stands. So this was like,
I would,
yes,
Dr.
please.
Sana, I would like to add here, if we look deep into the picture and we want to think positively, so
Yes,
what I see that maybe this couple has come from a long journey, and then at night they are very tired, and the man is lying on the bed, he is sleeping, and the woman also wants to sleep, and she just come out of the room and she is switching off the light, and the window
yes,
is open and the room
yes.
is very airy. So if we
Hmm.
try to think positive, we can see positivity and the rays in the dark room.
Yes, yes, definitely. So you gave a very good answer, and that is where the thinking stands. That what do you see? I mean, when you even see a negative picture, is it giving you the negative energy, or you are taking a positivity from that, and still you are like having a positive answer? So this is something which is very important, because you see that in a business, when the managers have to face some really negative situations, they have to stay positive,
Can I
otherwise
say
they can.
something, please,
Yes,
Dr. Sana?
yes,
Um,
miss.
so I see it's completely different. It's just the way I perceive this picture and just my way of thinking. I would actually say I agree with the other people. Everybody sees things differently. But
Yes,
what I see here is the man could be drunk.
okay,
So he could be intoxicated, and it could be something with abuse, where she's not giving up and she's holding the door. And
right.
so that's exactly what I see. I know it's negative, but that's the way I see it.
Okay, yes, definitely. You can have that perception, and like everyone is having their perception, nothing is incorrect, everything is correct.
Thank you.
So, yes, you're welcome. Right. And now, this was the syllogistic reasoning, where we are having a joint, what you can say, reasoning. And for example, this is deductive reasoning in short, like book with a red cover. I'm just quoting an example which is written in front of you. Book with a red cover and book with accounting basics. Now, if we join that, it will become a red cover book with accounting basics. Okay. So why we are saying this thing? Because we are using deductive reasoning, or we can say, I think that if I'll make it more clear that what deductive reasoning is, it is a mental process of drawing the deductive inferences. An inference is deductively valid if its conclusion follows logically from its premises. For example, I'll quote a different example, like all men are mortal and Socrates is a man. So Socrates is mortal. So this is deductive reasoning, which is drawn from a premises, but it is in the end of the sentence, it is true. Okay. So this is what is the syllogistic reasoning. Now there is this last part, inference, which we had gone through, and there is another very interesting picture, and I wanted your feedback on this. That what do you see in this picture? Yes. So Muzammil, you want to say something?
Mm, there may be more than one answer. Like
Okay.
it seems hip bone. Like if we see a X-ray
Okay. Fine.
image like this, right?
Okay.
And if we see the picture from another side, We can see the red color, right? Right.
Okay.
Red color denotes warning, blood, violence,
Okay.
and love as well. And
Okay.
we can see two people in the picture.
Mhm.
Might be one male or female, and
Right.
it's kind of love in between them.
Okay. Okay, that's very good explanation. And definitely it is correct because that's your perception. This is how you see things. So is there anyone else who want to contribute? You can tell me that what do you see in this picture?
If
I
you,
will.
so for me,
Yes.
if you turn it around, it looks
Right.
like a bug, um, but like sort of like an abstract watercolor painting,
Right.
that has like, I would say like probably it's like bleeding or like just like it's a watercolor painting that has like touches of red on it.
Oh, okay, right. That's I think very abstract. And maybe you like paintings?
Yes, I do.
Yes, that's why from your exposure you are coming up with this answer because this is looking like an abstract painting. Yes, this is true, and definitely I was not looking at that from that angle. But if I like just heard what you just told me, and yes, if I look at from that angle, this is definitely a this is definitely an abstract picture. This is very interesting. So yes, anyone else who want to contribute?
Yes, I'd like to please.
Yes, miss.
Okay, so it is definitely abstract, but to me it looks like an emblem. I see a butterfly in the middle and
Okay.
I see angels on the side. So I see a lot of positivity in this picture.
Okay, that's very good. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Right. So is there anyone else who want to say something that what do they see?
I would like to agree with the second answer. It does look like two figures, maybe human. And then once again, in the center, the red denotes love or any other um, criteria. But however, if you look at the two insides of these humans or animals or whatever they are, you would see that it's opened in the center. So so somewhat shows me a heart that is linked to that body. And then if you look behind the heads, there's red again, which also is the figure of a brain.
Okay.
But it's outside of the figure of the body.
Right.
So, and then you're holding on to something. So it's definitely two personal beings that are trying to possibly make a decision that's logical, but at the same time, they're finding a difficulty in it. I don't know.
Right.
That's just how I see it.
Okay. Yes, miss. Definitely that is correct. And definitely that is correct. So yes, anyone else who want to contribute that what do they see in this picture? Yes, anyone else want to contribute?
Can I
Yes, sir.
participate?
Yes, yes,
Okay. This picture is this picture seems quite complicated. Like
okay.
if you see two love signs in between them, right? I think they are on a mission and they have to complete the task and they have very strong bonding between them. Like it is decided that if the work is done, it's
Right.
okay because there is a very strong bonding and understanding between them,
Right.
which shows love.
Mm.
And if it is not done, if you see the red spots outside,
Right.
please try to absorb what I'm saying.
No,
If you
no,
see,
please go ahead.
if you see the blood spots outside,
Right.
I mean to say the red color denotes danger,
Right.
violation, blood, fight.
Mm. Okay.
If they fail to achieve the target and if they die, it's
Okay.
okay. In both the cases, They have very strong bonding and they are agreed on this. If I summarize the whole picture, whole description, so I would say that this picture shows a kind of very strong understanding and
Right.
mutual understanding.
Yes, I agree. I think it's a strong bond, because if I have to look at what they're holding on to, I would call that a parent, and maybe those are siblings on either side, and there's a strong bond and there's lots of love there.
Right. Right. This is very positive comments, and these pictures are totally abstract, obviously. And this was a part of formal logic strategy and informal logic strategy. Definitely, we draw a conclusion out of it. So now this is the end of our session, and we have gone through some very interesting techniques, and we have understood how decision making is done, and I have also shown you some of the diagrams, and I got your perception. So the main reason was that to get the perception of the person, because you see that when the employees are working and they are working with any organization, it is very important for the employees to be positive under any circumstances, because if their thinking is not positive, then obviously the result, the outcome will not be positive as well. So here where the critical thinking plays a very important role, that is you have to critically think over whatever the situation, the conditions, the problems that you face, so that you can come out of it, and the business definitely survive over such people. So that was the session of today. I hope that you have liked it, and I really enjoyed the comments, and they were very interesting. I had even there were some comments which were I was not expecting, but it was your exposure which came up with such a perception which I was not looking from that angle. So similarly, in the same way, if we see that if you all brainstorm and if you all talk together, then obviously our thinking will be more, it will get more refined, right? So thank you so much for listening to me.
Okay, thank you so much. If uh, if our audience has any question, if they want to ask any question, you people are most welcome.
Hello.
Yes,
Before
yes, we can hear you.
okay, before asking the question, first of all, I would like to congratulate on the wonderful session. It was really very interesting and concise.
Yes, thank you, Miss.
I want to ask one question, that is, it's obviously very good to be critical thinker because it brings creativity, innovation, and many positive aspects. But don't you think critical thinking has its own demerits?
Only happens.
Also has its demerits.
Uh,
Negative, a dark side of the critical thinking is, for example, being a professor, whenever I am checking it, marking any essay, any article, any thesis, or even on the billboards, whenever I see anything or brochure, I read anything, first of all, I see where are the mistakes. So I am being too critical in that way. And before appreciating others' work, I usually intended to see where are the mistakes, where are the problems, what are the things that can be improved. So my idea is to improve the things, but first I see what are the mistakes. So I think critical thinking has its own demerits. So how can we overcome that?
Miss, the thing is that if he, being a teacher, is trying to tell the students their mistakes, then we are guiding them towards the critical thinking. So there is nothing wrong with that, because if you are a master thinker, then you can look at the pattern of the student, and you can then guide the student towards becoming a master thinker. So there is nothing wrong with that.
But you know, everywhere this thing is not appreciated. Like I would like to share my experience that whenever we review the thesis and we attend any proposal or thesis defense, so whenever we give the comments to the audience, so their supervisors or the other internal reviewers, they feel irritated sometimes that why these negative comments are coming. Although defense means that people are looking for the problems and mistakes, and they will highlight those issues that can be improved later. But nobody likes it.
Because miss, they have not reached the master thinker level.
All right. So that means it's fine in any way.
Yes, definitely. You see, that is where we all are at different levels, standing at different level. And that's what my point is, that not everyone is a master thinker. They are standing at different stages.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Right. Thank you so much, sir. I think that this is a very good session. If there are any more questions.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes,
I have
sir.
a question. You said in the session that there is no place of emotions in our decisions.
Right.
Our decisions should not be emotional based, right?
Yes.
So how can we get rid out of it? How can we like, I mean to say, it's not in our hand, it's beyond our reach. So
Yes.
how can we do this?
So the thing is that if obviously we are human beings, we have emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And you are correct that without emotions, we cannot, like, we are made up of emotions. This is the reality.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is that how to overcome it is that when you're making any business decisions,
Mm-hmm.
then it should be based on that how much profit the business is gaining. Because if we think from our heart, then, and if the heart is like telling us the right thing and it is making us end with a profit, then there is nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is going to make up and us with a loss, then obviously no business wants a loss, and emotional decisions can make us sometime take decisions from our heart which will lead us to making losses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My another question is, you talked about intuition. You gave example of Newton and a law
Yes.
of gravitation, right? If we talk about intuition, what do you say? It's a natural, like only Newton thought that if an apple fell down, so why it fell down? Why not
So
in upward direction? Is it natural or God gifted?
Sure, wisdom is definitely God gifted, and intuition is something which is gained through experience. And as I told you that we are all standing at different stages, so we all are thinking in a different level. So if Newton was thinking that why the apple fell on the fell downwards, and he then investigated and further experimented and ended up with a law of gravity, then he was definitely he had more thinking capacity, he had more thinking ability than all of us. Because as I've mentioned in the beginning, that there is heuristics, that is the rule of the thumb that most of us don't want to think, we just want to follow the rule of the thumb. So Newton was definitely was a more what you can say refined thinker. He was a master thinker. So
Okay, okay.
so are there any more questions?
Yes, do you have any questions? I think no more questions from the audience, right?
Right.
Because everything was so much clear, we don't have confusions in our mind. So
Right.
yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Dr. Sana, we are thankful to you for such informative session, and believe me, I have become energetic, and I was active throughout the session. Right, it
Right.
was not
Yes, yes.
boring. It was quite interesting.
Thank you, sir.
I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed. Right,
Thank you, sir.
and thank you so much. Thank you so much for your precious time, and
Right.
maybe we may call you, we may invite you for another session for our
Right.
students.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
take
It
care of
was,
yourself and see
yes, sir. Thank
you
you.
soon.
And
Okay, take care.
yes, sir. Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.